welcome back to the Immigration Answers Show. My name is Jim Hacking. Although I'm not dressed like one, I am an immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. I'm joined today by my good friend, Daniel Axelbaum, a.k.a. Daxel, a.k.a. Steve. Daniel, how are you?
Doing great, Jim. Great to be here. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm going to the Cardinal game tonight, so I got my Cardinals gear on. I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Awesome.
Look at that. We got everybody already knows the routine here. Everyone's saying hello. Hola desde Columbus, says Rocio, our good friend. Everybody's already chiming in. If you haven't already, let us know where you're watching from. We're always glad to have our friends on the show. Our friend Yasher, of course, is here. And
Yasha's
Jason.
famous now in the office.
Yasher is famous. So Yasher's brother-in-law was one of my first clients ever, Mazin, from Kurdistan in Iraq. And Yasher, we helped get Yasher over here, and then we worked on Yasher's case. And then Yasher would always come to see me and say, Jim, when can I apply for citizenship? About every 3 or 4 months. And we put it on the calendar. We got started, and then Yasher, of course, got his citizenship. So he's always one of the first people to respond to my social media posts. And as you might see here, Yasher is the king of the emojis. And nobody does emojis as well as Yasher. But we got everybody checking in. Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That's awesome.
We got Guyana, Illinois, New Jersey, Maryland. Look at that. All right,
I like your hat too, Jim.
Everyone's ready for the show. It must be because you're here today, Daniel.
Well, I'd like to think that, but I think this is prime time. This 4 o'clock show here. People like that.
I think that's right. I mean, I had a good show. We had a good show yesterday. There were plenty of good questions, but I mean, we are at 87 people tuned in already. So I think that's because of the later time frame.
Awesome. Well, I love your new microphone too, Jim. It sounds great.
Boy, it does sound good. Last night Amani and I rewatched that session I had with Aseta the other day, and the sound for this mic sounds great.
Yeah, it's just a soothing voice you got. Is this like a podcast?
It was only like $200. Somebody said my audio sounded like crap on the show, and my camera doesn't really look that good. It looks fine when we're live, but the replay, it doesn't look good. So one of the things that's sort of exciting for us in the marketing team is we have a new video and editor guy named Justin who started yesterday. So we're gonna, like I said on the show yesterday, start putting out some more content. But before we get to the callers, do you want to let people know sort of what happened today at lunchtime with the Leeds team? That was a lot of fun.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity, Jim. Yeah, today at lunch, the team that I'm on, we shared all about ourselves, some of our personal lives, and just what brought us to the firm, and just what we like to do in our free time. So it was a great way to get to know each other, and I think everyone just got the sense of how much we all enjoy our job and enjoy working for you, Jim and Amani. And so that was just nice to share that joy that we have at work. So yeah, we were glad to have the opportunity, Jim.
And everybody had little tidbits that they shared about themselves that we didn't know. And one of the things I knew, but I forgot about you, was that you have sort of a video background of your own.
Yep. I used to work on movies as a first assistant camera out in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and that was really fun work. But long days there. It's not a regular schedule, so law firm is much more consistent, I would say.
Well, I had a friend, one of my favorite shows, Daniel, is Better Call Saul. And I was talking to a friend of mine today. He's a lawyer, and he has lived in Albuquerque. He doesn't live there now, but he's from Albuquerque. And he was able to finagle his way on to be an extra on 2 upcoming episodes of Better Call Saul. He's not sure if he's actually made the cut, but it's pretty exciting that he was able to be selected as an extra.
I don't want to bring down your friend at all, Jim, but being an extra is actually pretty boring from what it looks like. It's a lot of standing around and a lot of just hanging out. But
all right, well, should we get to it?
Yeah, sure. All right.
How do you get back there?
Marie, welcome to the show.
Cool.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, it's us.
Yes.
Hi
Welcome.
guys.
How you guys doing? We're still trying to figure out how to get a comment in there, and that's why we were a little sidetracked for a minute. Sorry for that.
So we're Ben and Lisa Bruin. We live
calling
in
from
central Germany.
Germany, yeah.
Wow.
So 11 o'clock in the night.
Wow.
So we have a quick question, or maybe two questions. We do have a daughter, and we just like in January, what's it called?
We filed our CRBA. I'm American.
I'm
Grew
German.
up in Seattle. I've lived over here for 7 years, and we've been married for just about 7 years.
Great.
We own business over here, but we want to go back to the States. I've got a big family over on the West Coast, family down in the LA area, and lots of family back up in Seattle. And we filed the CRBA for our daughter in January at the Frankfurt Embassy. And we've heard absolutely nothing back from the embassy. And we can't talk to anybody because there's no contact information. The only thing we've been told is, send an email to the consulate under their questions not answered website, and maybe they'll get back to you.
But there was like when we applied for the CBRA or
CRBA,
we ran into the issue that we brought most all of the stuff that we thought is enough to like prove that his citizenship, because he has never been outside of the country until 2015. So he filed also his passport there. We had all sorts of evidence for it, but it was not enough for the officer.
They wanted my high school transcripts, and I didn't have that with me. And so I got my high school transcripts and sent it to them to the email address they said, but we just haven't heard anything. Now it's
Nothing.
been 3 months.
Yeah. Over.
So what's the plan as far as you, Lisa? Do you have a visa already?
No, I have not. We have decided we do this process first with our daughter, and then that would be the second question. What would be the smartest move, to do it through the consulate here in Frankfurt or do the adjustment of status?
You can't do it through. Well, I mean, you mean whether you should.
I could apply for this for the immigration, I guess.
Yeah. So file an I-130. I mean, the thing is, your case is going to take a lot longer than your child. Your child's case will be done long before your case. So I would get started on your case, figuring out what your plan is. So if you're gonna have you sir file an I-130 for your wife, I mean, that's going to take 8 or 9 months to get approved, and then you have to go through the embassy in Frankfurt, the National Visa Center, then the embassy. So that whole thing's going to take a year. You might get lucky; things are starting to speed up a little bit, but you're talking about 9 to 15 months, right? So that part is going to be the longer play than the daughters.
Yeah, we do kind of have a set of 5 years in total. So because we own a business here, and
so you're not in a hurry to get to the States.
So what did you say?
You're not in a hurry to get to the States.
No, we're not in a hurry by any means, but we do have a business here. We want to start a business over in the US, like a little copycat, so to say. We're doing this business here for 6 years. It's doing great. We're kind of keeping it, but then we will have it run by managers. Want to start the business over in the US. And that's why we started to do that, like figuring out. I watched your videos a ton load to kind of get informations and kind of get this a little started in information before we run into any time issues. So we have a 5-year plan.
And have you, Lisa, been visiting the United States, going back and forth, like on
ESTA? Yeah.
Okay.
Just on ESTA, 90 days.
Really, the question is just what you asked, which is, how do we get the embassy to give us an answer faster?
Yeah, and the question was, do we need to involve your office or something to get her? I don't know, because it would be heartbreaking, just the fact that if something happens to Ben as a citizen, and then what am I gonna do? And
I mean, my daughter should have dual citizenship, and we're just waiting for the embassy to grant the reported birth abroad.
But when we got there, they were saying like that we just have 90 days, and if we don't approve in those 90 days, then they will deny her citizenship. That's what they told us at the embassy, and the 90 days are over.
our office has never actually handled a CRBA case. We've never been involved in that. That's always something that clients do on their own, right? So that's in my experience, it's never been a situation where you need a lawyer, which is why we don't handle it.
And that's where it's really weird to us is I have other friends that are American and German couples, and they've all gotten their dual citizenship for their kids really quickly. There's no reason I can think of that they would deny anything like that.
This is one of the rare situations where I think getting a politician involved could help. Ambassadors and the embassy staff are more sensitive to political inquiries on something like this, where it's helping a U.S. citizen versus a visa thing. They're not going to want to get much involved, but I would figure out whatever state you're in from, sir, whatever state you're from, talk to a Democratic senator from or congressperson from that state and try to get their help to reach out to the embassy, because usually it's you just drop it off and pick it up and off you go. So now the one thing I will say is it's a little unusual. I mean, that they asked for your high school transcripts. One of the things you have to show is that you've lived in the United States for at least 5 years. And then I think it's 3 of which were after you turned 14.
Yeah. I gave them, I brought in, obviously, my birth certificate, my initial, mumps, measles, and whatnot vaccinations from when I was a little kid, and brought in anything and everything I could possibly think of. I mean, we brought in my first passport application from 2015, and they end up, the lady's like, well, you could have flown over and gotten the vaccinations and gone back. So there's no consecutive, there's no proof of consecutive living in the States. And I'm like, hey, how is this possible? I have tax returns with me to show when I've worked. I've been a bartender my whole working career. So I've never been able to bartend from outside of the country and receive a paycheck from a restaurant in the US. And so we turn in everything, and the lady says, well, this is really good, but it's not quite enough to establish that you've lived in the US for more than 5 years after the age, in total, and 3 of them after the age of 14.
When did you stop living in the United States? How old were you?
2015.
So how old were you?
40 years old.
I'm sorry?
I'm 40. I turned 40 in June.
So you were 34. So you lived in the United States for 20 years after you turned 14.
Yeah. And
that should be pretty easy to prove.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is I've always filed my taxes, all that kind of stuff. But they said they won't accept tax returns because you can file your taxes outside of the U.S. And
sounds like you got a dickhead officer.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing is the lady that we dealt with, that was the officer. She was from Seattle. I'm from Seattle. I'm talking about, I went to this high school and this, and she's like, I went to West Seattle High and blah blah blah, and I'm thinking, okay, this should be
maybe you could be my witness that I've been there. I can tell you about the high school. I mean, call Patty Murray's office, tell him what's going on. This is a perfect kind of a thing for a senator to get involved in. Okay. Anything else? I mean, whether we need to sue them, that would just be ridiculous and overkill. So I wouldn't do that. If you get frustrated and it doesn't happen, I'll be happy to sue them for you. But I don't think you need me just yet.
Well, I mean, we're also at that point to where we want to get over to the U.S.
Yeah, I get it.
You have no idea the kind of BS we deal with as business owners over here. Anybody that complains about taxes in the U.S. should, or gas over in the U.S., they should come over here for a minute and check stuff out.
If Patty Murray's office can't help, call us back, ask for Daniel, and we can sue him for you. I mean, they'll give it to us if we sue him.
Well, no, and we really appreciate that because we also want to. My wife has substantial financial assets. So when it comes down to any kind of sponsorship or anything like that, that should not be any kind of an issue. I mean, we've lived over here for 7 years. We make good money. She owns a house that is worth close to $1 million outright. So
The
financially,
question is, how should we do this, filing it from here, or should we move to the US and then adjust the status?
Well, that would be something we'd want to talk about off camera, because if you have immigrant intent when you come through, then you get in trouble. So we wouldn't want that to be the case. But if you came to the United States and decided later to apply for your green card based on marriage, then that would be a whole different thing.
Okay. Well,
all right, thanks, guys. Nice to meet you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, you guys have a nice night here. Nice afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All
right.
right.
All right.
They had some good questions. A lot of people waiting to talk to you, though, Jim.
There are a lot of people. Let's try to keep it fast, people.
Envision's
Hi,
in the
Jim.
house.
How are you?
Great. How are you
Great.
doing?
I'm okay. I believe that I spoken to Daniel last night on his cell phone. I sent my all details. My case is L1A.
What's
Yes,
the
sir.
question?
I think you have a consultation coming up.
Yeah, actually, but I was desperate because the attorney I hired, I believe he is not experienced. So I believe Daniel went through my RFE, so he knows the case. But like,
So
I have to
hold on. If you've sent things over to the office, I don't want to talk about your case on camera. If you sent documents,
it's something that I wanted to discuss. I sent things because I don't know. One of your old client referred me to you, but the attorney who filed my case was inexperienced. So I just wanted to inquire either I should go forward filing RFE or not, because they demanded a lot of stuff.
I don't know. I haven't seen the RFE. I can't talk about your case on camera if I haven't seen it, and you already have an appointment set up. That sort of defeats the purpose.
One of the attorney told me that being an owner in foreign entity and in US, being in 100% owner for L1A, I don't qualify. Is that true?
I don't know, brother. I have to see the RFE. I don't know what you submitted. I don't know what the corporate structure is.
Okay.
So, sir, you have a free consultation on Thursday. So we're happy to have an attorney call you on Thursday and discuss everything.
Okay,
Perfect.
no problem. Thank you so much.
Yep, absolutely.
Can't talk about the ins and outs of a specific case.
That's all good. He's going to get some great assistance on Thursday from your colleague, Mr. Bloomberg.
Oh, well, he's the right person to talk to anyway, because he knows all those L1A stuff.
Absolutely. All right, George, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Hi, George.
Oh, hi, Jim, Daniel. Hi. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely.
Two quick questions. We sued in February, the USCIS, so I was expecting an answer by the 25th of April. However, my case moved forward on the 15th of April, I believe. I got an RFE for a physical exam. I'm employment-based.
Yep.
But I thought that was the end of it. I took an appointment, and the first appointment with a civil surgeon was on the 5th of May in my area. So I said, fine. However, I was surprised yesterday, which was the 25th of April, I get an email from Tamara that they filed a motion to dismiss. Is it normal or?
Yeah. Are you in Kansas City? Is your case in the Western District of Missouri?
I am in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We filed initially in Nebraska.
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing that happens a lot more often than you would think. They file a motion to dismiss, but they also start working on it. So the important thing is that they're working on it. So I wouldn't sweat it. In fact, we'll probably go ahead, George, and ask for an extension to reply for the if you got a RFE for medical, what we'll probably do then is just flat out ask them to hold off on the motion.
Yeah, they gave me till the 5th of July to answer. I'm gonna reply way before that. So I'm gonna reply next week.
Tomorrow knows what to do. We'll slow down the motion stuff while you get your medical done, and then we'll just dismiss the lawsuit. It'll be fine.
Okay, great.
Remember, I mean, I think you know this, but just as a reminder to everyone, the lawsuit's just a way to get their attention. So weird things happen when you sue them. Sometimes they file a motion to dismiss and don't do anything. Sometimes they file a motion to dismiss and finish the case. I once had them file a motion to dismiss saying the Moscow embassy is not processing immigrant visa applications, and then they approved it. So I can't figure out the way they do things.
Okay. And from your experience, how long is it taking after I submit the RFE to hear something?
Yeah. So Tommy will tell you that when you submit the RFE to send us a copy, obviously you'll have the medical in a sealed envelope, but send us a copy and the tracking number. We'll send that to Lynette Wagner. She's the U.S. attorney in Nebraska, and then
it got transferred. Interestingly, it got transferred from Nebraska to the national benefit. From the national benefit during this period, so maybe a month ago, it got transferred to Indianapolis. So we initially sued Nebraska and the national benefit, but whoever filed the motion to dismiss was Indianapolis, and I got the RFE from Indianapolis,
from the field office.
Field office in Indianapolis.
Yeah, so we'll just let the U.S. attorney know, and everything should be fine. I wouldn't be worried at all. I think you're in good shape.
Wonderful. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Have a great day, George. See you, bud.
You too.
Thanks, George. All right, sir.
Those lawsuits are something, I'll tell you. Hi, Guy Freddy Mac.
Yep.
What's up, Guy Freddy?
Hey, Guy Freddy. You're on mute, sir. There you go. Keep talking, please. Can't hear you.
It's those headsets.
We'll give you
everyone comes on with these. Everyone comes on with these kick-ass headsets, and then they can't hear anything.
See if these work. Guy Freddy's working on it. I hear something.
I hear something. We can hear you. Say something. He can't hear us now.
All right, let's come back, Freddy. We'll give you a second to work things out there. All right, Melinda, welcome to the show. Just chilling, it looks like. Hi.
So we got excited because we got a green card approval.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, we got it, but then there was an error in his name. He has quite a long last name. So our question is, do we know any kind of timeline for when that will be processed? We sent it back Saturday, and
you sent the card back, or you just filed an I-90?
Yeah, we filed the I-90. We sent the card back. We sent a birth certificate.
Don't send the card back. Don't send the card back till they ask for it. You keep the card for as long as you can, and then when the case is done processing, then they ask you for the green card.
Oh, well, we called US. Tell him.
Well, we called USCIS, and they told us to send it back.
Yeah, nope.
So, well, that's another.
In answer to your questions, probably 9 or 10 months.
Wow.
Yep. I mean, what was the mistake? Was it like off a letter or something?
One letter.
Yeah, I wouldn't have even messed with it. I certainly wouldn't have sent it back like you fought so long and hard to get it, and then to turn around and send it right back to me. You should have talked to me before you did that.
Well, the reason we literally called USCIS.
But they're idiots. They tell people the wrong stuff all the time. You can't rely on those fools.
So he's not, because someone said that he would be committing fraud if he kept it because it's not his legal name.
How is it fraud for him to use a green card that the government gave him? Who told you that?
Because it's not his legal name on there.
This is my green card that USCIS gave me, and guess what? There's a typo on there. That's not fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Fraud is making a fake green card. Fraud is using someone else's name on my green card. Not those fools who don't know how to type or print. Are you sure it was their mistake? It wasn't a mistake on your 485?
Yeah, we've triple checked, and what's crazy is when we went to our interview, I ended up telling the officer, and he told the officer both, that his name was incorrect, and he said, "Oh, it's fine in my system."
Yeah. So anyway, I think it's unfortunate you sent it back, because now you're back sort of like you were before, waiting for that green card. It's sort of like starting. It's not going to take as long.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right, Jim. We're going through them today. How you feeling?
Everybody's just doing their own thing. They're just doing their own thing. They're not listening to Jim and Daniel. They're just doing their own thing. I don't know.
All right, we got some people.
I guess that's what keeps us busy, Daniel.
That's right.
People just doing their own thing.
All right. Renor's laughing. Hi, Renor. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm calling from St. Louis, Missouri.
Awesome.
I think you guys in St. Louis too, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Cool, cool. Okay. So I'm a U.S. citizen, and I brought my wife here on K-1 visa, my fiance. We got married here. We filed for status of adjustment, and we had our interview. We went to the interview. Everything was good. It's just that my wife was missing some shots. So the officer, vaccine shots. So the officer told us that she will mail us a letter so we can finish the medical form. She says she will mail it to us next week, but it's been around 4 months. We never got the letter.
Idiots.
I called the 800 number. I sent them a letter, but nothing yet. But what's interesting, my question is, during the interview, she mentioned something about you can get U.S. citizenship even if you don't get the green card, as long as you wait for the process.
No.
The officer told me that.
Well, let me tell you about some of the officers down at the St. Louis field office. Amani was down there yesterday in a roughly similar situation from you, and she made the officer print. My wife demanded that they print out the RFE right there on the spot so she could have her client go get what they asked for. So that's one of the great things about having a lawyer, especially a lawyer like my wife, who's not going to put up with fools who don't know what they're talking about. Now, what I would do, first of all, if I were you, I'd be really mad at that civil surgeon. Why did the civil surgeon give a medical that didn't have all the shots?
For some reason, my wife was pregnant at the time or breastfeeding. I'm not sure, one of those. So they're like, okay, you can just take these shots later on because it might affect it.
So the officer was a jerk because the officer could have waived the medical because she was pregnant. They did not have to wait. I bet you $10. I'm not going to say anything on camera, but I bet you $10 I know who it was. I bet you $10 I know. I bet you $10 I know who it was. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
But
shoot, not yeah.
What I would do, I would go back to my civil surgeon, whoever did that for you, and I would say, hey, listen, this is what happened. I went down to USCIS. The officer doesn't know what they're doing, and they said I need to get these extra shots. Let's make them happy. Can you please give my wife the shots, give us an updated medical to reflect that the shots were administered, and then not wait any longer for the RFE, then send them a letter and say, hey, fools, 4 months ago, you said you were going to send me an RFE. You never did. Here's what you asked for, even though you don't even freaking need it. Here it is. Now approve the damn green card. So in answer to your other question, your wife's clock hasn't started ticking yet. Her days towards citizenship have not started, and they will not start until she gets her green card.
Why would she say something like that on the interview? She say, hey, there's a way. She told me exact her words. She's like, look, there is a way, even without getting the green card, after 3 years, you can just apply straight for citizenship. She's like, look, we have a time limit on if you apply for U.S. citizenship, but we have no time limit how fast we have to move for a green card.
Well, that's technically true. But as 1,100 lawsuits show, you can make a move a lot faster, even without statutory deadlines. So this is, I'm sorry, Renord, this is all bad. She should have her green card, and her clock towards citizenship should be ticking, but it hasn't started yet. It won't start until the green card's approved.
Okay. Just one more quick question. It's Medicaid for pregnant woman considered public charge?
It doesn't matter for her. She's fine.
Okay. What about advanced parole? Can we go back home, visit while we wait for the green card now?
Does she have advanced parole?
She does, yes.
When does it expire?
1 more year, maybe.
Okay.
She has,
all right. So as long, yeah, you can go back for a couple of weeks, sure.
Yeah, we're thinking about 1 month, maybe.
Just make sure somebody's checking your mail so that in case that stupid RFE shows up.
Oh yeah, we're looking for it. Cool. Okay, hey, thanks a lot. You guys have a good
Bye,
one.
buddy.
Thanks, Renor.
Bye.
I mean, that's what we're talking about. People think I make this shit up. Remember when we had that officer, that secret officer who said he watched the show and he thought that Jim's like too conspiratorial, too mad at USCIS.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody watching this show, I mean, Daniel, in May, we're going to have our very first a very special episode of the Immigration Answer Show. And what we're going to do, just so people know, we're going to do a whole episode, and it's not going to be me giving advice. It's actually, I'm going to ask everybody in the comments, all of our usual viewers, we're going to ask anybody who's come to the United States and been an immigrant in the United States, what's one tip? What's going to be rapid fire for a straight hour? We're just going to get one tip after another from immigrants who've been through the part. We're not going to answer any questions that day. It's going to be a really fun show, and we're just going to have immigrants give a piece of advice, and it can be something simple like, here's one thing that's different about grocery stores in America than in Germany, or whatever, just any kind of tip. It's going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to that. Our second special show should be something like, can you believe what those fools did today? Like literally, like just making a list of all the stupid things USCIS does. Like I am completely believing what Renor said. I have no reason to doubt that somebody at the St. Louis field office told him something that's completely wrong when it comes to immigration. So I'm sorry he and she are going through that. Overall, I think they're in good shape. It's just a matter of, and here's what happens. So yeah, we're going to send you an RFE, and then they're too lazy to print out the RFE because they're on to their next case. And then they just put it over there on the shelf. People think I make that shit up. People think I make that shit up when I say the lawsuit makes them go over and get it off the shelf. But that's the whole point.
I thought you made that up. Yeah.
No,
Who
it's
has
real.
A shelf with papers these
It's
days?
real. And I've been to immigration offices where like you can almost, I think you could almost predict how fast your case is going to be decided by how messy the officer's office is. If they've got stacks and stacks of files, that means they are slow to make a decision. If they have a neat and tidy desk, or if they have their cases over on a cart, that's probably a good sign that you're going to get your decision pretty quickly. Now, I said that Amani demanded almost let me just say this, Daniel. The translator was so impressed by Amani's performance at this interview that she asked Amani for her business card. She said, I've been to many immigration interviews. I've never seen anything like that. Amani literally had the officer. The officer was texting the supervisor. The supervisor was working from home yesterday. Amani was telling the officer what to say to the supervisor because she was asking for something that was impossible to get. This was a 90-year-old applicant. I think it's our oldest green card applicant of all times. And for those of you who don't know, a lot of times USCIS can't get fingerprints from people that are 90. This lady filed her green card case 2 years ago. She was in her 80s when she filed it. Now she's in her 90s. You can't get fingerprints usually from people that old.
Really?
So guess what? They tried again. They tried again to get the fingerprints yesterday, and it didn't work. So the officer thought that Amani had to send the old lady back to the home country to get a police certificate to prove up this 90-year-old lady. Now, what in the hell is a 90-year-old lady with a green card going to do? What are we worried about? Just give her the damn green card. They wanted Amani to send the client back to the home country to get and Amani's like, hell no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. And so then they're like, well, we're going to have to send her out to the municipality where she lives to get fingerprinted. Now, it's just so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. Why are we wasting time? Parents of U.S. citizens don't even have to have a green card interview. The officer said, oh, you wouldn't believe it, Amani. You wouldn't believe it, Amani. My whole day has been filled with files that were missing for a while, and now they've popped back up. This is what we're dealing with. Look up on the internet, National Benefits Center cave. National Benefits Center cave. They are saying they can't approve citizenship cases because cases are locked in a cave. We've had 3 lawsuits where the U.S. attorney said to us, we're glad you sued them because that made them go into the cave and get the file. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. Man,
well, Jim, I'm loving this.
I'm not mad. I'm laughing. I'm laughing. It's insane. It's insane. But this is your federal tax dollars at work. This is your $12.25 for a green card at work. And now they want to charge more. Ridiculous. Let's get at it, Daniel.
All right. We got Jim fired up. This is the best part of the show. Guy, what do you got for us?
Hey, guys, can you hear me this time?
We got you.
Yeah, we got you, bud.
All right, guys, I apologize for earlier.
Oh, good.
All right. Jim, Daniel, thank you guys for having me. All right.
Glad you're here.
I have a situation. I'm originally from a country called Gabon, is in Central Africa. And I came in the state in 2016 under asylum status. The status was granted to me, and just a year later, which was 5th of May 2019, I filed a relative petition for my daughter. So, and that was back in New York. So I filed it to the Texas Service Center. So ever since I was in New York, counting months to months, I decided to come to establish in Vegas in 2020, end of 2020. And then, so it's always been almost 2 years. Let's just cut it short by saying my case, the relative petition case, which is the I-7730, went already outside normal processing time. So instead of the 28 months that they talked about, the case went up to 33, 34 months before moving to Vegas, where I currently live. Mm-hmm. And just like their request, I sent the change of address, which was acknowledged, and they sent the paper back to me, acknowledging the change of address. So now I still waited here to have a feedback, and then I put an inquiry just for them to let me know that my case was transferred from Texas Center to the National Benefit Center located at Lee Summit. Okay, now I let them know that, hey guys, when my case was transferred, my case was already out of processing time. What are you guys transferring my case when you were already outside normal processing time? Meaning, in my sense, you were already in a position to give me an answer regarding my case. So now let's just say second phase of that action is the case is now at the Lee Summit. I sent a letter to let them know that when my case was being transferred to them, the case was actually already outside normal processing time. So I needed to know one thing, which is my question to you. Yeah. Will you guys consider it as a new case and start from scratch? Or would you consider that my case has already been in the queue for the past 2 years and a half?
Yeah, you should sue them. You should sue them. They've been real slow on 730s. It could be another 16 months before they decide that.
Exactly.
We've seen 730s go. Yeah. No, they don't get to reset the clock, Guy Freddy, because they moved you from one place to another. That'd be a really good trick. But no, it's just one case.
So what I did, I try to follow the process what they say internally. So I asked for expedite the case. No answer. I get hold of the congresswoman here in Vegas. I'm actually now talking about her office. She said she put an inquiry. I don't have the feeling that anything is being really done. I also sent a letter to the ombudsman. I think that's the way it's called. And they say they also sent an inquiry to inquire what the situation. But to be honest, either it's the congresswoman and the ombudsman. I don't have the feeling that anything is going to be done. So I'm in a place where I'm sort of almost desperate. It's been 2 years and a half. Didn't see my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So I'm in a place where I wonder if I have to actually start suing them. That's why I'm here.
You should sue them. Let's sue them. Yeah, for sure. I think if we sue them, we'll get a decision. We'll get that. I mean, don't forget, Guy Freddy, she's overseas, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're still on you're still on part one. You still got it. We got to sue USCIS just to get that part done, so that you can start going through the embassy and the State Department. So yeah, you should sue them. If we sue them, we'll probably get an approval on the 730 in about 2 or 3 months.
Okay, so if I want to do that, what should be the process? How should I get hold of you guys or your team to start the
Yeah.
process?
Yeah, so
How?
I'm gonna put the email address
Okay.
in the chat right now, info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com.
Okay, that's how the general comments.
Yeah,
or
it's in the
private chat.
general.
All right.
Info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com, and just say, hey, I was on the show with Jim and Daniel yesterday at around the 40-minute mark. They'll find you. Just and then say that you want Daniel to follow. Ask if Daniel can follow up with you tomorrow, and he'll follow up.
Okay. Now my second question is, so that's a no. That's done. I think that's what I'm gonna do because I can no longer wait. It's too much. Okay.
Yep.
My second question is, okay. As the process, the law says after 1 year in my with having my status, you can now file to have your green card. So I did. I filed it myself, just like I filed the first time, and I just received a letter saying that I have to send them the I-693.
Yep.
But what is strange to me is they have a condition here where they're saying for me to submit the medical and go to the civil surgeon, I gotta provide a kind of record of the COVID-19 shots.
Yeah.
Is that a condition? Is that a way to go around it?
No, they're requiring it.
So it's a must.
It's a must.
What about people and their rights? About people who doesn't want to have that vaccine?
Yeah, that's not something. If you could try it, it's gonna slow down your case by about 6 or 8 or 9 months, make it less chance to get approved. So our office isn't filing any medical waivers. So I think if someone could demonstrate that for their whole life they've never been vaccinated against anything, that's one thing. But if they just are upset about the COVID vaccine, I think that's a whole different show.
Okay, so I see my position, right? Like this is like I have no choice.
I think that's right.
Okay. All right. That was all, guys. I think I will get a hold of you for the first case and get things going.
Thanks, Guy Freddy. We'll see you later.
Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
on.
Thank you.
Nice guy.
Good stuff, Jim.
It's an interesting day today, huh? I mean, now let's stay here. Rocio says, I think we all need to do some mindfulness after today's show. Now, believe it or not, I've been meditating for the last week and a half every day. So this is actually me chilled. Now I am fasting, so that might raise the temperature a little bit. But I think we could always use a little bit of mindfulness.
Yep. Great advice. All right. Priyank, welcome to the show. I think you might have just reached out to our team, but how can we help you?
There you go. Hello. Can you hear me?
Hi, Priyank.
We got you.
Hi, how are you? I reached out to you like a couple of months ago regarding my wife's I-130.
Okay.
It's been approved since February 2020, and I still haven't received anything yet. And I'm thinking to just loss with them with mandamus.
Okay. So your spouse is overseas.
Yeah.
And you filed an I-130 with USCIS. Did you get the approval notice?
Yes.
And
everything is
did they
approved. I contacted them like few times, and I asked them for an update, and they said it's just waiting for an interview. Everything is we received everything, and it's just waiting for an interview.
So the State Department received the case in February of 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 2 years plus. So yeah, it's plenty of time. You've waited long enough for them to decide the case.
And I also reached out to my state senator and a local congresswoman, but they're telling the same thing to them, and
just to keep waiting.
There's nothing actually going on.
Yep. Which embassy is it, Priyank?
It's Mumbai.
Yeah, things are still moving at Mumbai, so that's worth a lawsuit for sure.
I also emailed you this afternoon. I'm not sure if you received it, but I just want to get process starts.
Okay. I'll tell Daniel. Daniel will follow up tomorrow when the show's over. We're done for the day, but he'll follow up first thing tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you tomorrow, Priyank, for sure.
Thanks,
my
Daniel.
friend.
All
See
right.
ya.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks.
Bye, buddy. We got a lot of nice callers today.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. We got Christina. Hello, Christina. Welcome.
Hi, Mr. Jim and hi, Mr. Daniel. Thank you
Hello.
for taking my call. Let's talk a little about nonsense here. Let's see.
Nonsense is a good word for it. Yes, nonsense.
Yeah, let's see. I'm staying here for the last 22 years. I came with a student visa, and I'm thinking about getting on the list for removal. The nonsense is, how do you recommend to get on the list? I'm thinking about prove a case of extreme hardship. I have a son. He's 17 years old. My life is just taking care of him because he has autism. He needs a lot of support, and it's like around the clock, 24 hours. And
so, sorry to interrupt. Were you done? You can keep going if you.
No.
No.
Give me your 2 cents, please.
So your son is 17. He's a U.S. citizen.
Yes.
And you've been out of status for a long time. Your F1 was over a long time ago.
Yes.
So, okay. One of the things that occurs to me is that in 4 years he'll be eligible to sponsor you for a green card. So I know that seems like a long time away, but I would encourage.
No, it's not. It's just...
Yeah, I would encourage you not to raise your hand and ask to be put into removal. I've never in my entire life recommended that happen. I don't think, maybe once we did it because we thought we were going to get cancellation, but I'm pretty sure we've never done it, and I certainly wouldn't do it in this case because in your case, once he turns 21, he can file an I-130 for you. You had a valid entry. If you still have proof of your entry, which I'm sure you do, then it's just a matter of filing for adjustment. So as long as you don't come into contact with ICE in the next 4 years, I think the last thing you want to do is raise your hand and say, please put me in removal.
Okay. One thing, because I don't think he's going to be able to, he doesn't understand anything about it.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. He can still be the sponsor. You would need a co-sponsor. You'll have to find someone to be the co-sponsor.
Okay.
But
co-sponsor.
But I think and I keep interrupting you, and this really sucks because I'm reading a book on not interrupting people, so I really need to stop. But the thing is that he will need a co-sponsor, but when you want to talk about all that hardship stuff, the best time to do that is when you're applying for the green card. Just do it that way and show how you need it. I mean, you don't need to show hardship in order to get a green card as the mother of a 17 or 21-year-old, but I think that your best bet is just to sit tight and wait and not to raise your hand and ask for a notice to appear.
Okay, but in that case, I'm going to apply now for guardianship. Do you have anything to talk to me about it? Because no, okay, I understand.
What state is it?
New Jersey.
The only thing I might think about is if there's anyone other than you that could be the guardian. I know you probably are the guardian, but yeah. So that's okay. You can deal with all that stuff later. But for now, I would just sit tight till he's 21.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I really need to know about that. Thank you for interrupting me to get straight to the point. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Christina.
Okay.
She was very nice. All right, listen, everyone's asking about Asada. Asada, I have your phone number. My team gave me your phone number. I'm sort of tied up for today, but I have a lot of openings tomorrow. So I will call you tomorrow. Daniel will remind me in the morning to call you, Asada, but I will call you. Don't worry about that. Everyone's thinking about you. And I actually talked to my wife about your case last night. So I do have some things to talk to you about. And that's totally fine. You don't have to give any more information than you already did. So I'll call you tomorrow, Asada, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim, for saying that message. All right. Well, how are you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm good. I got probably about 10, 15 more minutes.
All right. Great.
All right. There's Asada. So Asada, just let me know in the chat that you got my note, or that you got
so
my
Asada,
message.
Mr. Hacken will call you tomorrow. I'll remind him. That's my job. Jonathan, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. You're on mute, I believe.
Yes.
There we go.
Can you hear me now?
How you
doing?
Hi.
My name is Jonathan. I'm in Atlanta right now, originally from Ethiopia.
Nice.
I filed my asylum in March of 2015, and I still didn't get anything. I've been getting two years extension for work permit. I started my own business. It's not only me. I have other 3 guardians, I'm a guardian of 3 of my brothers, and we have that case in general, one case of me. But I haven't get anything. What do I have to do? It's been 7 years, but I've been getting my work permit.
Did a lawyer file your asylum case, or did you file it on your own?
I didn't have a lawyer, but I had a caseworker.
Mm-hmm. So what we've been telling people in these scenarios are, if you didn't file the case with a lawyer, and even if you did, your case is now 7 years old. Incredibly, it's 7 years old, which means that things have probably changed for you and your family and in Ethiopia.
Yes.
So what we've been recommending to people is maybe we should start working on updating your case, making it stronger. And then once we feel like it's in a good spot, sue them, because they're not going to fight me on a 7-year-old asylum case. They're going to set you for an interview. So, I mean, the one thing you have to understand with asylum is if you don't get it and you don't have any other status, if you lose, you go to deportation court and have to try to prove asylum up again. So I know a lot of people say, I'm frustrated with this delay. And there's I think you probably know there's a whole set of cases from 2015 and 16. We have like 6 of them in our office.
He's watching right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some just like that right now. So one thing is, do you feel comfortable rolling the dice and seeing what happens, knowing that you have to go to deportation court if you don't get asylum? The other one is, how strong do I feel my case is, and can I make it stronger? Because the easy part, actually, Jonathan, is getting you the interview. I can sue them and get you an interview in probably 2 months, right? But then the question is, how ready am I? How strong is my case? Am I comfortable with what happens after if I get denied? Everybody thinks I sue and I win. Well, what if you sue and you lose? So then you get, all those are pieces that go into the mix of whether or not you decide to sue. Because asylum's different.
The only thing about the suing is that when our case, the asylum case that happened at this moment, was a government case, and that government is not there anymore. So
Yeah.
It's a completely different thing that's going on right now. So when I sue it, what's going to happen?
Well, so you're going to be judged based on the way things are now, right? So and I don't want you to talk about it on camera, but let's just say that things are back to normal. Like it's okay. The bad government's out and it'd be safe for you to go back to Ethiopia, then that's something you really need to think about as far as whether or not to sue or to push.
Even though you started I have businesses, we bought a house, everything out here is going to be.
Yeah. So you've got to prove a fear, a credible fear of persecution if you go back now. Yeah, for sure. If government A was in power and you were safe under government A, and then government B came into power and you were unsafe, and then you applied for asylum while government B was in power, and now it's back to government A and government B is sort of defeated and can't hurt you, then that's going to make for a pretty weak asylum case.
Okay. So can I come to you and you can help me on that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For sure.
Okay. I have one more question. I have a friend that just got here, and he wants to file his asylum.
He wants to file for asylum?
Yes. And how's the process? Is it the same way that we did it, or is it going to be different right now? How long does it take? Does it take 6-7 years as it did?
No. It's relatively similar to what you did before. It hasn't changed that much. They'll get a chance to file with an asylum officer. They should Now, the thing is that like I said, 2015, 2016, those cases went into a black hole. But now they're trying to get the people that file now. Like, interestingly, if your friend filed now and you didn't sue, your friend would probably get his interview before you do, even though you've been waiting all that time. Because that's the way, when USCIS finds itself in a hole, they have this approach of, well, let's not make the hole bigger. Let's stop the bleeding, decide the current asylum cases, and then work our way backwards towards the really old cases from 2015. It's weird. Trump did it because they have this whole idea that all asylum cases are fake. So let's not let those people, like, you just got to stay here for 7 years. They think that's you, like working the system over, not an incompetent agency that can't handle their caseload. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so can I email you on the same email about it?
Yep.
We can move forward. Okay.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. Got time for one more, Jim?
Yes, I think we have time for one more.
All right, Marija,
Hi guys,
welcome.
thank you for having me. Thank you.
Sure.
So I have a question. I am currently living in Canada, but I am not settled here. I was planning to ask for asylum in the US. Canada has denied me permanent residency. They just don't think that I have enough evidence. In my case, I've applied for humanitarian basis, to stay on humanitarian basis, and I had a paralegal who advised me to do that. I wanted to apply for asylum at the US-Canadian border. So I was wondering if the process will be the same, because on the news we're watching everything about Mexico, American-Mexico border, but there's nothing about the Canadian border. So what will happen to me if I go there? Because I wanted to apply on religion base, and Canada is not letting me stay anymore, not even as a tourist. They want me to go, but I'm not for deportation. I'm just waiting for the government to give me until which day I can stay, and then I have to go home. But I can't go back home because of this religion issue.
Where are you proposing that you would come to customs? Like, where do you think you would do this?
Windsor, Detroit, Windsor, the tunnel.
Yeah, Maria, I don't actually know the answer to your question. I don't know what would happen if you tried that. There are probably some people that I could talk to in Michigan. I actually have a friend up there. She would probably be really helpful. Let me give you her name real quick. It's Amelia Cotto. She's actually this is what she does a lot of. Amelia Cotto.
Okay. Amelia Cotto.
Yeah, Amelia Cotto. I just put it in the comments. And she actually handles cases in Canada and in the United States. My understanding is that they would just refuse you entry into the United States and not let you make your claim for asylum. I think that's what would happen, but I don't know for sure.
I was reading a lot that they have this called the third country agreement, that they will not accept refugees from either way. So that's why from the US, they're going like through the back door on Roxham Road, like up in Quebec, and they're letting them in Canada. But I want to come from Canada into the US. Well, I was never settled here. They never gave me work permit. I don't work. I'm just like, it was a bit like difficult situation. So this is what I am afraid of, to deny me entry, because they will say, oh, you've been living there for 2 years. Out of what? Like out of my savings. But
yeah, that if you don't have any real status, that part of it shouldn't hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
The question is how do you make an actual asylum claim? That's the bigger question.
Okay. So they might just deny me and send me, like, not allow me to. So what if Title 42 goes up, like they remove Title 42 on May 23rd, and will it be possible to go after May 23rd and be allowed in?
I believe that their stated plan to not enforce or to do away with Title 42 is something that they're doing for political reasons, and I think that they're still going to keep people from coming into the United States.
All right. And another question: if by any chance they let me in, what about detention? Like, are they gonna keep me in a center, or if I have an address in the U.S. to stay with family, will they let me? I never committed a crime. I have like 9 years of U.S. visas in and out in the U.S., but I never had the need to to do this, like the asylum. Now I do.
Most
So
of
I
what
was
I
always
know,
legal in the U.S.
most of what I know is based on what's happening at the southern border, and that is that you'd be detained for 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay. All right. Because I've seen a couple of videos, like they would take them on a bus and put them, like take them to Washington. But are these people that came in like yesterday, or
that's that idiot governor from Texas? That's not that has nothing to do with real immigration law. That's political theater.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. Thank you
All
for
right.
your time.
Yep.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, my friend.
All right, Jim.
We hit the
Great
hour.
show.
That was a fun show. Asada will call you tomorrow. Daniel, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully the Cardinals win tonight, and I'll
have
see
fun at the
you.
game. Yeah.
Oh, we should tell everyone that if they want to get access and updated when we do the live show, we'll be live tomorrow at 4 p.m. same time as today. I'll be solo tomorrow. Aren't some of your colleagues going to start joining me on the show, Daniel? Isn't that part of the plan?
Yep. That's
awesome.
the plan.
Well, that'll be fun, but I have a lot of fun with you. That's for sure.
Awesome, Jim. Well, enjoy the game.
Thanks, everybody. Peace.
Bye.